This is the Seagate storage expansion card for the Xbox Series X and S. It's a 1TB nVMe SS drive, and today we're going to find out if it's worth the $220 price tag. What's up guys, Michael here, back with another YouTube video. Today we're going to be reviewing the memory card for the new Xbox Series X and S. So Seagate is calling this thing a storage expansion card, but it's basically just like a memory card if you remember the old memory cards from the GameCube or the PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 days. The difference with this one though is that it's much faster and much more expensive than previous memory cards for gaming consoles. And I'm curious to know, before I even start this review, let me know in the comments below if you guys think this price tag is just too much or if this is something you're actually considering buying. If you do want to buy it, I'll leave an affiliate link down in the description below to Amazon. It does kind of fluctuate in price there. You might be able to get it under 220 bucks, but the link's down below if you are interested in buying it. So if you're anything like me, you're probably already getting close or have already filled up your internal SSD on your Series X or Series S. In fact, after you take away the pre-installed operating system and gizmos and gadgets and whatnot on the actual Xbox Series X and S, you only get about 800 gigabytes of usable space on the Series X, and only about 360 on the Series S. So if you have a passion for gaming, or if you are even just a moderate gamer, you're going to fill up your storage very quickly, and you're going to have to look for some sort of expandable option pretty quick. This storage expansion card is a solution to that, but it is the most expensive solution. And the reason it's the most expensive is because it's going to allow for the same speed and performance, keyword there being performance, as the actual internal SSD on the Series X or Series S. It's worth noting here that USB, if you use a USB hard drive, it will not get you that speed or that performance. We'll talk more about that later on in the video, but right now this is the only way to fully optimize your console and expand your storage. I did do an unboxing video where I went through a little more detail on this. If you guys want to check that video out, I'll leave an iCard here as well as a comment down below where you can go click and watch that video. And guys, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. You'll never miss a new video. We're putting out new videos here every single week. So let's talk about some of the technical details on this storage expansion card. But before we do that, we have to kind of understand what the Xbox Series X and S offers. One of the biggest things between the Series X and the previous generation of consoles is the speed and performance that it offers. The internal SSD on the actual Series X and S is much better than the Xbox One's old console. And that is largely why this storage expansion card is so expensive here. This is actually using nVMe SSD PCIe technology as opposed to the SATA USB connection on the old consoles. In addition to that, Seagate is the only one that's able to manufacture this right now. So when we see other manufacturers able to make some sort of storage expansion or memory card for the Series X and S, we might see a price reduction. It's also currently only available in a 1TB model, so maybe going forward we will see that bumped up to 2TB or possibly cut in half to around 500. And that could also obviously change the price difference. I also want to note here that if this thing's out of your budget, USB 3.2 can still be used on these new generation of consoles, so you can use an SSD or a hard disk drive on the console itself, just using USB. It's also pretty easy to install this thing on the actual console itself. There's actually a new slot on the back of the Xbox consoles where you just slide it in. You kind of got to give it a little pressure to push it in there, and then you're good to go. You can fire this thing up and start using it. They're also hot swappable as well, so while the console is on, you can unplug this and plug in a different one if you have multiple of them. What I've been failing to mention so far in this video is that if you use a USB hard disk drive or even an SSD, you're not going to be able to use games that are optimized for the Series X or S. The only way to get around that if you're using a hard disk drive or a USB SSD is to actually transfer the games from the external drive onto your internal drive anytime you want to play. If you want to use Series X and Series S optimized games, right now, this is the only way to do so if you're looking to expand your storage. And that's where it gets hard to say is if this thing is actually worth it. So let's do a few assumptions here. Let's say you are in the market for some sort of expandable storage on your new Series X or Series S. You're probably going to be able to get a drive that could be anywhere from 1 to 3 terabytes for about $100 on Amazon that's USB. This thing is about 220 bucks. Again, it kind of fluctuates back and forth. There's a link down below on Amazon if you want to check what the price is now. It's about 220 bucks. So really the question you should be asking yourself is if you're already going to spend $100 on a storage expansion drive anyways, is this thing worth an extra $120 to you? For me, again, it's really hard to say. Obviously for me, I decided it was. I have it in my hands here and I've been using it. The way I justified it in my head was I already spent $500 on a Series X console. And I bought that console because I wanted to play new games optimized for the Series X. Unless I am constantly transferring games between a USB drive to my internal SSD on my Series X or deleting games and re-downloading them, which either way, that's kind of a hassle, this is the only option for me to expand my storage and keep the same level of performance that I paid for on my new console. To me, it didn't really make sense not to spend the extra $120 because I already have the new console. If I wanted to play games that weren't optimized for the Series X or S, I should have just stayed on my Xbox One. But it's also very hard to spend this much money. I mean, this thing is almost as much as the actual Series S. You can get a Series S for $300. This is $220. There's not a big difference there. I'm not really sure what to say with this one. You'll have to decide if it's worth it or not. Let me know in the comments down below if you think it is or it isn't. If you're gonna be picking it up, let me know. If you already picked one up, let me know if you like it or not. Otherwise, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this video on the review of the Seagate storage expansion card for the Series X and S. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.